What's going on YouTube? R-E-E to the dash G-O-N. I know it's been a little while since I made a video, but I just felt like coming on here talking about a few things, man. First and foremost, when it comes to the Wii U, it seems that its fortunes are slowly but surely turning for the positive. As we just read about a week ago, that Pikmin 3, after only being out for 2 days in Japan, tripled the system sales in Japan, which is a smaller market than the US. Imagine what's going to happen when it releases here on the 4th of August. So I think that's positive news for Nintendo. I mean, the 3DS is still strong, still the #1 selling console, handheld, period, over everything. And that's good news, man, especially considering that it's not just Pikmin 3 that's coming out now, but you got Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101, it'll be followed up by Wind Waker HD, and then Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, ultimately Super Mario 3D World in December. So if Pikmin 3, which is not even one of the big, I mean, it's a big game, people have been waiting for it, but it's not one of the big Nintendo franchises. It's not the Mario, the Zelda, or the Donkey Kongs. If that was able to triple system sales in Japan, imagine what that plus these other titles I just mentioned are going to do in the biggest gaming market in the world, which is the United States. I mean, so news is looking good for Nintendo. On top of that, another positive bit of news for Nintendo, for those of you who haven't read, just a day or two ago, I read that Nintendo stock finds itself 4% higher. It's risen 4% and is at the highest place it's been since 2011. So that's another good bit of news for Nintendo, man. I mean, it's funny though, because in light of all this and seeing positive news for Nintendo, I mean, here come the haters again, just batting down the hatches. Here come the haters. Every time there's a positive bit of news for Nintendo, they gotta come out the woodwork, man. And I actually had a 2-day long discussion on Facebook with a friend of mine, an old friend of mine. I haven't seen him in a minute, but I mean, I made a video talking about a little while ago, talking about another discussion that me and him had. He's a gamer, so to speak, quote unquote, who is a big at time Xbox fan. Says that he's always loved Nintendo, but has never had anything good to say about Nintendo since I've met him. And he comes out and he says that Xbox and Xbox One and PS4, PS4 and Xbox One are next gen, Wii U is not. And he has this whole article about it, about the specs and this and that, whatever. And so I go back at him and I say, look, man, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is a better, more fun, more innovative console with better exclusives in the Wii U than what we know so far about Xbox One and PS4. That's not fanboyish. That's not my opinion. That's fact. I mean, that's fact. At the end of the day, right now, Nintendo being out 8 months with their console, 8 months on the market, and PS4 and Xbox One on the horizon, what Xbox One and PS4 has announced as their launch lineups doesn't even begin to compare to what Wii U has in this coming next month as its lineup. And I'm talking just exclusives. I'm not even talking about third-party or multi-platform titles. I'm talking about exclusives. Dude comes back and he says that none of the games coming out for Nintendo right now excite any real gamer. I'm laughing at this shit because I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that Zelda and Mario and Donkey Kong and Sonic, those franchises, those characters don't excite gamers. I don't think I remember any time in history, really, where a Zelda title didn't excite gamers. I mean, I remember being at Walmart close to midnight on the launch day of Skyward Sword, and that motherfucker was packed. And that was the last Zelda game that came out. I mean, call me crazy, but I remember Galaxy 1 and 2 selling in the millions of millions and being one of the highest rated games ever. So I don't see how these two titles or these franchises don't excite gamers. You know what I'm saying? So I told him that. And he said that in the lineup, aside from Pikmin and Zelda, he doesn't get excited about any of those games. I said, well, you know, that's your taste, but at the end of the day, you cannot deny that the amount of exclusives and the quality of exclusives that Nintendo has coming out over the next 6 to 7 months, you cannot deny that that destroys what Xbox One and PS4 announced as their launch lineup. I mean, when we look at Xbox One, we're talking about Rise, Son of Rome. We're talking about Forza Motorsport 5. We're talking about Metal Gear Solid 5. 5? Yeah, 5. And we're talking about a Halo game somewhere in the future, as far as I can remember, off the top of my head. PS1, we're talking about a bunch of multi-platform titles. Knack, Infamous, Second Son, and there was another one, man, I forgot what it was. Infamous Second Son, and I forgot what else. But, you know, a couple of titles. How are you going to put that up in comparison with Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Sonic Lost World, Rayman Legends. Well, no, Rayman Legends is not an exclusive, I'm sorry. Wind Waker HD, Mario 3D World, Bayonetta 2, Smash Brothers, and Mario Kart 8. How are you gonna put that lineup? How are you gonna put anything that PS4 and Xbox One has announced to this date up against that lineup and have a straight face? Dude comes back and he tells me that Wii U is not next gen. Da 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 da. I go to him, please show me, send me a copy of the holy manuscript and the holy requirement for what defines next genness. Because you know, according to you and so many other people, there has to be a certain number of, you know, a certain level of specs or level of jump from one generation to the next for it to be called next generation. So please send me a copy of this holy book and where this holy requirement is written, because I mean, at the end of the day, to me, next gen is the next console in the line of consoles from this certain company that offers a brand new experience that wasn't available before. That's what makes it next gen. So send me the specifications that determine next gen. He comes back on this rant talking about, oh, well, for starters, we need a Blu-ray drive. Okay, first of all, Blu-ray drives were in PS3, was in the PS3 last generation, so I don't see how that's next gen. Anyway, he talks about a Blu-ray drive. He talks about 8 gigabytes of RAM instead of the 2 that the Wii U have. He talks about cross-game chat, which has been going on now for a couple of generations with headsets, so I don't know what's so special or next gen about that. But he talks about all these specifications and all these numbers and throws them out there, da 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 da. Then he tells me not to bring up Wii U's second screen gameplay because PS4 and Xbox One are treating it as it should be, as an option with Smart Glass and Vita. Yeah, okay, number one, Smart Glass sucks, okay? Smart Glass is horrible, okay? Who the fuck wants to use their iPad or their iPhone or whatever tablet or phone they may have as a controller for a game they're playing on their screen? That's number one. Number two, Vita. That's great that PS4 is doing the same thing with Vita. The only problem with that is no one fucking bought a Vita. So who gives a shit, alright? So that's number one. So then I go to him, alright, so according to these specifications that you sent me for what determines next gen, you, like so many other people who claim to be gamers, are not in fact gamers, but are spec heads, techies. That's what you are. Because if you have gotten to the point where you let the specs of a system or a console determine your reasoning for buying said console, that's a sad, sad reality for you, dude. Because for me, I buy a console for the games. I buy a console because it's going to give me fun games. Not because it's going to give me amazing numbers that I can brag about. Dude starts telling me that games like Lego City Adventure and Pikmin and Mario and all these games, they're designed for little kids. He doesn't want to play games that are designed for children. Okay, so now you're trying to impress somebody with the content of games that you play, with the type of games you play. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I don't give a shit what you think about me, a grown man at 30 years old, playing Lego City Adventures and enjoying the shit out of it. Because I'm playing games now at age 30 for the same reason I started playing them at age 6 or 7, which was because they're fucking fun. Alright? That's at the end of the day, that's why I'm playing games. So when I look at what Wii U has given me so far and what it's promising in these next couple of months, compare with what Xbox One and PS4 are promising to give you at launch, I'm sorry, I don't see much fun on the Xbox One right now. Please enlighten me and tell me on how Rise, Son of Rome, is going to differ at all from God of War. Tell me how Halo 75 or whatever the fuck it is that's coming out on the Xbox One is going to differ from the first 4, 5, 6 Halos that they came out with. But the funny part is that I can tell you how Mario Galaxy differs from Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, and how Metroid Other M differs from Metroid Prime, and how Zelda Wind Waker differs from Zelda Twilight Princess differs from Zelda Skyward Sword. And all those titles that I just mentioned are fun as shit. So it's like, man, we get into this debate, this discussion, and at the end of the day, he tells me that I'm just a blind fanboy and I can't look past Nintendo, and that ignorance is bliss. And I just answered back and I said, well, you would know. Because, I mean, you being ignorant to the fact that the reason that you started playing games, and the reason at heart, if you are a gamer, the reason you play games is for the fun and the experience. It's not so you can brag about the number of polygons or the number of bits or the number of, you know, processing power and specs. I didn't buy my Wii U because it was gonna, you know, have a certain number of, a certain kind of, you know, internal design or a certain amount of power I bought my Wii U because I saw the experience they were promising with the dual screen gameplay and the promise of HD graphics on the beloved Nintendo franchises and a better online interface. That's why I bought my Wii U, and I'm enjoying the shit out of all three of those things that I just mentioned. I'm loving playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the Wii U with the second screen experience online. I love playing fucking Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U. I love playing Mario, New Super Mario Bros. U in HD, New Super Luigi U. I love playing Lego City Adventures, a hell of an exclusive. I love playing games like that that are entertaining and fun. I don't have to sit there and wonder what people are going to think of me playing a game that's quote-unquote designed for kids, when at the end of the day, all these consoles and games are marketed and put out there in stores as toys. So no matter how many media features you put in it, no matter how badass you make it sound or look, at the end of the day, a game system is just that. It's a toy. Okay, y'all really need to get over this. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, man, I just felt like elaborating on that, expressing my opinions on that. I just find it so ridiculous when we're talking about, oh, well, you're playing games that are designed for kids, and I don't want to play kiddie stuff. I want to play mature games. It's like, dude, you're playing a fucking video game. It doesn't matter if it's about shooting people in the middle of a war or jumping on mushrooms in a fantasy kingdom. It's a fucking game. It's a toy, okay? At the end of the day, you're playing with a kid's toy. You know, it's like, it's hysterical. But, you know, they feel that they got to put on this front and impress people with the games they play and, you know, the specs and the numbers and the processing power. Look here, man. I'm not against specs. I'm not against good specs in a console or high-end specs. I'm not. I just don't think that in any way, shape, or form really determines whether I'm going to buy that system. I think the games that you have coming out on the console and the experience are what's gonna make me and any real gamer decide whether they want a console or not. You can put all the features in it you want. I don't give a shit about media features. I don't give a shit about Netflix, Hulu Plus. I don't give a shit about being able to play the minute I start downloading. I don't give a fuck. I just want the games to be good. I want the interface and the experience to be amazing and new and fresh, and I want the games to rock. That's all I want. That's all any real gamer wants. So, you know, if you're one of these dudes out there that is, you know, concerned about specs and, you know, you're frowning on the Wii U because it didn't meet your specific standard of specs and power, and it doesn't match up, quote unquote, with the PS4 and Xbox One, sorry to tell you, you're not really a gamer, dude. You're a spec head. You're a techie. You're all about the numbers. You're all about the power. You're all about bragging rights. Gamers are about fun. Gamers are about playing amazing titles and great experiences. This dude told me that while I'm enjoying Mario or Lego City or whatever for the 100th time, that he'll be enjoying next-gen games and next-gen experiences. And I go to him, dude, you know, I enjoy Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, F-Zero, even if for the 100th time, because every time they bring it around, it's fresh and new. Every iteration is different from the past one and mind-blowing and fun. You know what I'm saying? Call of Duty Black Ops has not differed in any way, shape, or form from all the Call of Duty Modern Warfares, man. At the end of the day, the gameplay is the same. At the end of the day, the objective is the same. At the end of the day, the controls are the same. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that the gameplay in Mario Sunshine is the same as the gameplay and controls and overall game of Mario Galaxy, or if you're going to tell me that Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess are identical in the way they play and the way they feel, then you obviously haven't played any of these games. And you're just talking out of your ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, I'm going to be enjoying these next-gen experiences while you're enjoying these other games for the 100th time rehashed. I don't know how you can call them rehashed, bro, just because they have the same name and the same characters. Completely different stories, completely different experiences, completely different gameplay. Anyway, man, that's my time for this video, man. I just wanted to come out there, give that positive news for Nintendo stock rising to a place it hasn't been since 2011. For Wii U sales tripling in Japan after the release of Pikmin 2. Pikmin 3 sold over 92,000 copies in just 2 days in Japan alone. I mean, that's great numbers, man. So I think Nintendo's fortunes are looking up. They're slowly but surely righting the ship. And then also to talk about how funny people are when they talk about what it determines next gen and the reasons they don't like playing kiddie games, but they like playing mature games. And man, get the fuck out of here, dude. Yo, God bless y'all. Stay gaming. Reezonoticz out. Peace.